Hi, Jacie Sites here with LearnToFiddle.com, and today we're going to work on the A major scale. 2 octaves, just kind of plain and simple, but then we're going to add a little bit of the 3rd octave, just a couple of notes for the 3rd position. This will be a good warm-up for learning tunes like Gray Eagle, Dusty Miller, Tom and Jerry, Sally Gooden, any of those A hoedowns that have a little bit of 3rd position, and if you're not quite sure about that, I'm going to help you with that. And I'm going to give you some tips for the most commonly missed notes and the most commonly out of tune notes in these pieces. So we're going to start with an A note. That's the first finger on the G string, and that's the bottom note for the A scale. The most important thing is that it rings your open A string. I'll show you what I mean. You're going to set up your hand, you're going to make sure your thumb is across from your first finger, and then it's not up too high on the instrument. You want to have a little space underneath the instrument. Put your first finger nice on the tip. If I get a good tone, you can see that just like if I had pizzicatoed, you can see the A string reverberating. If that doesn't happen, you're playing out of tune. So it's very important to make sure that that open A string reverberates anytime you play an A note. Any note that you play that's the same pitch as an open string, your open string should ring at the same time. So we're going to start with that one on the G string, that's an A note. Make sure you're getting a good tone. If you're getting a thin tone, like this, you can see that the A string doesn't reverberate as well. Also, if you're a little bit flat, it'll still reverberate, but not quite as much. So you've got to find that most ringing spot. My suggestion is 4 nice long big whole notes to make sure you found that spot. You know, dial it in. If you're flat like this, bring it up to the most ringing spot. I would call that finding the sweet spot. So we're going to find the sweet, we just found the sweet spot in that note. That gets your ear tuned into listening to the intonation. Now we're going to go on to the B note. That's the 2nd finger. Then this is the most commonly missed note in the A major scale. Now, if your A note is ringing, you're really going to hear this pitch. My suggestion when learning to play in tune is to listen to the note without the finger down. So make sure that your 3rd finger is not on the string and listen to me play the pitch. Now, once I'm done playing, put your 3rd finger down, try it. If it doesn't match, move it to the spot. I'm going to give you that note again. Try it. If you miss it or if you make it, lift the finger up, listen to me play it again. Don't put your finger down. Now that you've heard it, put your finger down and adjust the pitch. If you need to, rewind this, move it back just a little bit, and practice that note 7, 10, 20, 40 times until you can catch it right at the first time in tune. You don't want to practice this. Because guess what? You're going to do that in your piece every time if you practice that. So we have ringing, finding the pitch, then 4th finger. Now the secret for this is to bring your joint in towards the instrument so that your 4th finger doesn't collapse like this. Keep the joint nice and rounded by bringing this joint in close to the instrument, not far away. Right on the tip. Now that's a D note, so your open D string should ring. If it doesn't, you're playing out of tune. You can do the same thing. You can listen to me play it with your finger up, put your finger down, double check. Rewind and try a few times. Then what I'd like you to do is release your finger, and we're going to start with an open D because you're going to play that in these fiddle tunes as well. Then 1st finger. Now if you play that into your E string is so skinny you may not even see it ring, but you'll hear like a wah kind of sound when you lift your bow off the string. Again, make sure that you're getting a good tone. If your tone is not big enough, you won't be able to hear the reverberation. So go back and check out my video on getting a good tone if you need to. 2nd finger. Now this is the 2nd most missed note in the key of A. Now a lot of people play their 3rd finger slightly high, but you've got to get it perfect in tune. So listen to the pitch first. Don't put your 3rd finger down, just listen. Now put it down and try to copy that pitch. Repeat. That's Andy. He's my poodle, and he's going to get the neighbor, so you might hear him for a second. 4th finger. This joint is in, and it's nice and curved. And you can see that my A string is ringing. Then release, play open, 1. 2nd finger. Half step to 3rd finger, and it should make your open D ring. My D doesn't ring as much here. Then 4th finger, make sure it's nice and curved and on the tip, and that this is nice and close. Then release, play the E, 1, G sharp, whole step, then half step. Then my next suggestion is to be nice and loose with your first finger and your thumb. You can even tap to make sure you're loose. Reach up to your third finger spot. Make sure that you hear your A string reverberating. And that extra wah sound. Whole step to second finger. Whole step to third finger, C sharp. Half step to D. Then release your hand. Reach your fourth finger. Just barely touch the string. You're just tickling the string. Don't depress the string. Just barely touch. And use a nice, soft, light bow. And that's going to be your harmonic. And so we want a little pass. It sounds like this. Oh, and Coco wanted to say hello too. This is Coco. She's my blind poodle and she just ran into me. So have fun practicing the A major scale. I'll give you another video with a few more tips down the road. LearnToFiddle.com.